Hi, it's Angus here from Tiny Towing Solutions. Today I'm going to run you through multiple options of how we can get your house onto site. So the two options we have is hydraulic house lifting equipment and Hiabs. Our preferred method of moving a tiny house is using hydraulic jacks. This is for multiple reasons, including cost. There's a lot lower risk of any damage caused by the hydraulic jacks compared to the Hiab. So this option will work whether you have a trailer or you don't have a trailer. It's on wooden bearers or it's not, it's just a subfloor. Anything like that, we will make it work. So what we need to do is be able to back up to the front of your house, put hydraulic jacks down each side of your house, and we lift the house straight up in the air, back the trailer under, drop the house down onto the trailer, tie it down, pack our jacks up and leave. At the delivery site, we need to be able to back into where you want it, put the jacks back in the side, lift it up and drive out and then drop it down onto the ground. Often this won't work if you've got piles that we can't fit between, tight corners in front of the house with no access to get to the front of the house. On our steel jacks, we have made custom sleeves that slide over to protect it so there's no chance of it scratching the outside of your house, and it's a vertical lift straight up in the air for us to back under, so the stress that it puts on the building is very, very minimal. The Hiab comes into its own game in hard to reach places. We're quite often, when you've got a driveway and you want the house above the driveway on piles, we can park on the driveway and lift the house up. Or if there's very tight corners and you need to lift it around the corner, that's when the Hiab comes into its own. Best practice for lifting a tiny house with a Hiab is having lifting points built into the floor of the tiny home. So these quite often come in different forms, whether they're under there all the time and they slide out and our strops can hook onto them. Quite often they will have a box section welded onto the outside of the house that we slide a bar into and pin it, and we can lift off them. When we get cases that don't have that, we have to put strops under the house, and our issue is right on the very corner of the house where the strop comes out from under and goes up the cladding. The strop naturally wants to push in, crushing the cladding, so that's where we try to use blocks and build it out to support the house. At 4.5 metres we can lift 17.5 tonne, but at full reach, which is 17 metres, we can still reach 4.5 tonne. So most of the tiny homes we move are around the 8 tonne mark, and we have the capability of lifting them about 10 metres off the side of the truck. We lift 15 by 4.5 regularly with our Hiab, but we need to be able to park next to the piles and then swing it around onto the piles. Where you start running into issues is if you can't get next to the piles, if there's drains in the way or trees and you have to lift over, that's when it quite often steps out of a Hiab to a crane territory. But then we still sort that all for the customer. We got contacts all around New Zealand for cranes, so we'll sort that out, no worries. Hopefully that gives you some ideas on the equipment we use and how we can get your tiny house into place and helps you out.